Near the very beginning of the year, when we were talking about distances in space, I pointed out to you that we are, in fact, at the center of the universe, at least in terms of size. We are much, much, much smaller than the universe, but we are much, 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 much bigger than the smallest particles that we know of. And it turns out what we've discovered is that, in fact, we talked about the idea that the senses can be fooled. It turns out that our senses are actually completely fooled because of our position in the middle of the universe. At our scales, the human scales, which is described by the classical physics that we spent 250 years developing, beginning, you might say, with Newton in 1687, space and time seem to be different things and seem to be absolute and unchanging. Matter and energy also seem to be completely different things. Matter is particles, which are localized in space and bits of matter. Energy is waves, which is motion and is delocalized in space. And the universe seems to be governed by predictable laws. But all of these turn out to be mistakes as far as we can tell, mistakes of our senses. Because as we discovered when we looked at the observable universe on the largest scales, the theories of relativity developed by Einstein between 1900 and 1905 and 1916, although he really started in 1900, that revealed to us that rather than being different and unchanging, space and time are actually the same thing and are malleable. They are changed by both motion and by matter. And that matter and energy are not different things. They're actually two different forms of the same thing, mass energy, and they can be interconverted one to the other. And now, on the smallest scales, quantum theory developed between 1900 and about 1930, and really is ongoing, showed us other things that we had completely misunderstood. That matter and energy are actually both waves and particles at the same time. Waves and particles are not different things. And in fact, at the smallest scales, matter and energy, waves and particles blur together in a way that they're indistinguishable in this quantum foam. Space and time are not only malleable, but they're also quantized. They come in bits and pieces. The smallest bit of space being the Planck length, the smallest bit of time being the Planck time. And the universe, rather than being governed by predictable laws, is actually governed instead by statistical probabilities. So our senses actually fool us far beyond anything we had ever imagined. And we only discovered this by combining quantification, empiricism, and rationalism, not relying on any one of them, but putting them together into the scientific method to discover that the reality that our senses alone or that reason alone could never, ever have revealed to us. What an awesome journey we've taken, and what an awesome journey we are continuing on in trying to discover the universe.